Hello everyone, this video is going to be about the grandiosity trait of a narcissist, not the grandiose narcissist. I shall add that link up here and in the description. This one is about the trait of the disorder. So we often, when we start looking into narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic people, we often think of the obvious, grandiose kind of narcissist, and this isn't always the case. When it comes to the grandiose trait of a narcissist, it can be in the obvious, grandiose narcissist, and it can also appear in the covert narcissist. Grandiose means an impressive or an imposing style or appearance. So you can have the one in the flash outfits, the flash suits, the flash jobs, the flash houses, the flash cars, the flash holidays, and they will exaggerate those. They will show them off to the world. They will be all, look at me, look at how good I am, and they will exaggerate them all. But you can also have the ones that are full of tattoos. Not everyone that's got tattoos or flash houses or piercings is a narcissist, but it's individual on that person. So it can be as simple as the way they dress. And there's nothing wrong with how you want to dress. If they haven't got the other characteristics of the disorder, it's just who they are. They just take pride in their appearance. But just because we talk about the grandiose narcissist being larger than life and big and grand and exaggerating everything, it's not always the case. They can have an over enhancement of their abilities or an exaggeration of their achievements. And we can find this quite appealing in people, especially if we have self-doubt and we have self-doubt in our own abilities. When you see somebody who is really proud of their achievements, you can look up to them as an example, which is good if they're leading by a good example. But if they are someone that's exaggerating and not being honest about what they've done, it's not so good. They have a unrealistic sense of superiority. So they believe they are better than all of us. And this shows both in the grandiose narcissist, the overt, the obvious narcissist, and it also shows in the covert narcissist, because a covert narcissist will think they're better, but kind of don't see it as the world agrees with them. The grandiose often has a big fan base or lots of flying monkeys and enablers that agree with them because they can show off and exaggerate. Whereas when it comes to a covert narcissist, they can be more, if only they'll always put the blame on someone else, or they do put the blame on themselves. It'd be a case of, I was just born at the wrong time, or I wasn't in the right place at the right time. So all grandiose narcissism is usually in most personalities of the disorder. So they can view themselves as better than others. They can view themselves, some can be very, very smug about it. Others can be very victimised about it. And this is where we do have to be careful, because obviously victims of narcissistic abuse can be in that woe is me mindset, but that does not make them a narcissist. That makes them a survivor of narcissistic abuse with emotions to work through. A victim, covert, vulnerable narcissist, that is who they are. Most people have had some form of trauma in their lives, but it does not entitle them to go around hurting other people. They can be in denial of their faults, their flaws, their weaknesses. They'll not see themselves as the problem. Why they often gaslight and blame shift, the whole projection, why they'll put any errors they make onto you. And as we've got different perspectives, as we see different points of view, we can then take them on as our own. We can, oh, was it me? Did I? Maybe I. And the same when they're calling you things like sensitive, these are our emotions that we need to own, our emotions that are usually telling us something. Yet when we don't look into what they are telling us, whether we need to change our procedure, whether we need to change our perception, whether we need to change our approach, whether we need to change and go completely the other way from whoever they are, but they're telling us things, and because we're not always confident in our own abilities, because we might have self-doubt from being around narcissistic people, especially if you had a narcissistic parent, we can then go to them to validate our feelings. There's a video on validation which I'll link up here and I'll also put in the description. So we have to take control of our feelings and our thoughts. The covert will blame all of us for problems within their lives. The overt, the grandiose narcissist, will be very in your face, exaggerating all their achievements. Anything that's wrong in their life, they will find a scapegoat to pin all the blame on. They can be very controlling. Most narcissists are controlling. They tend to rule through love or through fear. They will belittle people, they will put people down, and as they are jealous and envious, if they are envious of someone else's achievements, they will put that person down to raise themselves up, to feel better within themselves. They're usually oblivious to the impact they have on other people. They are usually oblivious to the impact their behaviour has on the restaurant example. If you go into a restaurant and they're acting all entitled and superior and they should be in there, they're oblivious to how that's making those around them feel. All they see is that they got their own way, they got what they wanted, it worked for them. They don't see the error in the way they've gone about getting their own way. And if you were to question one, it's very difficult to have a conversation with a narcissist. It's extremely difficult to reach a compromise with a narcissist. I'll have that video up here and I'll also put that in the description. But if you were to question a narcissist, you might get the anger and the rage and the resentment, or you might get the passive aggressive of the silent treatments, the sulks, the blame shifting. They don't like their superiority being questioned because that grandiose part of them believes that they are right and you are wrong. There is no other way, there is no other perception to it. And if there is, even for a moment, they see in that black and white, so they quickly shut that down and find a reason within their own mind. They find the reason of why they are right. They can have grandiose fantasies of power and success, that whole future faking. Sometimes it's very, very convincing because that can be the kind of future that they want, as well as something that you would like. So when they're delivering you the promises, but not actually delivering them, when they're making those fake promises of a future with you, of things that they want, things that they'll get next year, next week, next month, to distract you from the present, they often believe that within themselves, which is why they are so convincing when they explain it to others. And the thing about that is, we all have hopes, we all have dreams, we all have desires, but we all have to work for them. And if you can meet someone where you can match similarities, and you know, people can be going for big goals and it can take time, people can get knocked down. And if people are supportive of each other, then great. But if people nitpick, belittle, chip away at you, hold that grudge against you for wanting to make something of your life, then it's time to walk away from that person. And also the same as if they're stood there exaggerating everything they're going to do in the future, but they're sat on the backside on the sofa doing absolutely naff all about doing it, it's all in the head. They're not actually making any effort or any plans to actually try and do these things. Now, when we're trying to do stuff, when we're trying to achieve stuff, it can take time. We can make mistakes along the way. So a person that's thinking they want to be something in 5 years' time, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a hairdresser, they want to be a mechanic, whatever it is for that individual person. If they're taking the steps to get there, if they get knocked off balance and have a few days being a bit upset about it, finding a new way, that is a part of life. But when someone is constantly coming at you with, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, one day will be this, one day will be that, and they are doing naff all about it, that's a sign that that's not the kind of person you want to be around. If anyone has any other signs of a grandiose trait in narcissism, please add it into the comments so that those reading through are aware also, because we are all individuals. So it's finding the content that relates to you and relates to your life and helps you through. And you will find a way through this. Narcissistic abuse is devastating, and it is on a spectrum. There is different levels. I know when I commented about something that happened to me, someone was, oh, that's so, and I was like, it wasn't that bad. So it is on different levels, so it all depends on what you've been through. Some you do have to go no contact with, some you can do grey rock or level up. But it's more about learning about who you are, learning about how to handle those that you can't go no contact with, and moving on with your life, recognising that we don't have to please everybody. We don't have to be there for everybody. There is somebody for everybody, but we don't have to be there for everybody. There's that saying, I can't think of who's written it, please add that into the comments. If I find out and remember, I'll put it in, where it says as you get older, your friendship circle decreases in size but increases in value, and that's what we have to do. It's our own value and the value we give to others and the value that others give to us. Thank you very much for listening. I shall add in the description the videos that I've mentioned within the video. I'll add the online courses. I am full for one-to-one coaching, so I will add the link to BetterHelp. If you do find the information helpful or interesting on this channel, please do subscribe. It should be my face around there somewhere if I've got it right. Thank you very much for listening. Have an amazing day. Bye.